Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. It is Friday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you very much for supporting us throughout the week, Monday to Friday on our show. And on the show today and in the studio, returning from America, I'm delighted to say Barry Ferguson is alongside Alan Ruff. And here's what we'll be discussing. Yeah, lots of good football to look forward to over the weekend in the Scottish Premiership. We'll get the thoughts of Ruffy and Barry to that. Of course, the semi-finals have been determined between Celtic against Hibs and Rangers against Hearts. The kick-off times and the ticket allocation always seem to cause a little bit of consternation. I think everyone is well resigned to the fact that Celtic and Rangers will always get the bigger majority of tickets, but the kick-off times, is it down to the fact we've sold our soul to the telly?
Yeah, it looks that way. Strange times, if I'm being honest, especially the Celtic one. I can see why they'll be a bit disappointed about that, but as you says, it's all to do with the TV and the revenue it comes in for that, Peter.
Yep, and this is what the Celtic manager Neil Lennon made of it.
It's a bit of a awkward time for a kick-off, but I played in... They brought in half-5 kickoffs when I was a player here back in sort of like the 2000, 2001. It's just a little bit of adjustment, that's all. You know, it'll be a different routine for the players in pre-match, but we'll cross that bridge when we'll come to it. We'll be very much prepared, and it's obviously for TV as well. It's a Premier game, you know, and a good game, I'm sure, for anyone to watch, really. So, yeah, I mean, it's a strange time for a kick-off, but no issues with it, really.
And it's East versus West as well, Barry. Hearts will get 17,000 tickets, Rangers, the rest of them in the other semi-final.
Yeah, it's in terms of ticket allocation, I do think no firm. They do sell out every time. I know the Hibs and Hearts fans won't be happy with the amount they've got, but I think it's the right decision that's been made. And two cracking games, two teams that... Well, sorry, 4 teams will be desperate to get into the final, so it's a good chance for all 4 teams.
Any shocks?
Not for me.
No. Okay. Let's look at what's on offer in the Premiership this weekend. If you think about going out to a match, go out there and enjoy it. We certainly love our football on this channel. Hibs against Celtic, the 12:30 match. Then it's Hamilton, Livingston, Kilmarnock, Ross County, Rangers against Aberdeen, St Johnstone, Motherwell and St Mirren against Hearts. And of course, lots of speculation that Neil Lennon returning to Easter Road once more, he might get a bit of stick from the fans. But he certainly, as a manager himself, doesn't have any ill feeling towards his former club.
Resentment? No, not. Yeah, I have only good memories of Hibs. It was a great club with a great fan base, and we had a great time there. It was very, very fond memories of my time as manager. I met a lot of good friends, good people, and we had a really good team. You know, with some cracking players there. Some have gone on to do, you know, really good things and are doing good things in their career. So, yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about the club.
If anything, I think a lot of Hibs fans will look on with envy, wishing he was still there, Ruffy, because, you know, he had Hibs, you know, thinking differently from where I think they are now.
Yeah, he put standards in at Hibs that the fans actually bought into, and I'm sure a lot of the players bought into as well. It was a sore one for a lot of them when he left. A lot of them still can't get their head around exactly what happened that day that triggered everything off. So I would think he would get a good reception because I think he raised the standards there and had some really good big wins when he was there.
Yep, Celtic just scoring goals for fun, Barry. So if you were believing the bookies, Celtic will go to Easter Road and win the match. I just wonder about this constant clamour for managers to be put under pressure, to be potentially facing the sack. If results go against Hibs elsewhere and they were to lose the game tomorrow, then suddenly they'd find themselves bottom of the Premiership.
Yeah, that will be a hard one to take, certainly for the Hibs fans. I think he's bought himself a bit of time in getting that result. I know it was with penalties against Kilmarnock, but I think he's bought himself another few weeks, certainly. I can't see them getting anything off Celtic. I think Celtic are flying high just now, certainly since that Old Firm win at Ibrox. They've been scoring goals freely, so I can only see Celtic going to Easter Road and winning convincingly.
Ruffy?
Yeah, I think it'll be a tough one for Hibs. I don't think I'm convinced. Okay, it was nothing each at the midweek there, but they haven't produced anything anywhere near the standards that Neil Lennon set. So it's going to be a really, really hard game for them. And I think, as Barry said there, they've got far too much in reserve for Hibs.
Okay. At Ibrox, Rangers Aberdeen, were they games that you enjoyed? Was it the same intensity when you were playing in the Rangers jersey against Aberdeen as it was against Celtic?
No, it's not like an Old Firm game. There's nothing like an Old Firm game, but it was still intense. Obviously, big rivals, Rangers and Aberdeen. I always enjoyed the games. Certainly when they were at Ibrox, it was more comfy for us. Going up to Pittodrie, it was always more difficult.
I always thought they had a dreadful record down at you. I mean, I think I was going back to 1992 was the last time for a long time before they eventually ended this abysmal record where they couldn't buy a win at Ibrox.
Yeah, they couldn't. Certainly when I was there, it was the same, Peter. We went at them straight away and we scored the early doors, but we were always on to a convincing win. And I think this will be the same case on Saturday for Rangers. If they start really well, getting top early doors, I can only see Rangers coming out winning easily again.
Ruffy, even with all the injuries, I mean, the last thing Steven Gerrard wanted was to see a Rebo with 20 stitches in his head.
No, but again, I think they've got enough in reserve as well. I think if you look at the bench now at Rangers compared to 2 or 3 years ago, it's much stronger. There's players that can come on the park and affect the game. The team selection, he'll try and get his best 11 on the park, obviously without Aribo. But I just think Aberdeen at the back four just haven't settled at all. The goals they lost at midweek were cheap, and if they go to Ibrox and do the same, I think there's only going to be one winner, and that's Rangers.
What do you make of this partnership announced by Stuart Robertson earlier today, Barry? Rangers have linked up with Bengaluru in the Indian Super League, and this is basically over the next 2 years a chance for them to try and cherry pick some of the emerging Indian talent, because as a nation, you don't see as many Asians, really, especially from India, kicking on and playing in the top flight. This might be a lucrative partnership. Yeah,
it's a great opportunity for the Indian players, certainly to come over and showcase what they can do, and obviously show the Rangers coaching staff that they may be good enough to come over here and play. So, no, it was interesting when I read it, and as I say, it's a good opportunity for both clubs.
Yeah. As far as Aberdeen are concerned, Derek McInnes, you could tell in his face, it was written all over his face, Ruffy, nothing worse than losing in a penalty shootout. He was absolutely gutted about it. He's just quiet. I don't think anybody's been talking about Aberdeen. They're sitting third in, there's no noise around Pittodrie.
No, but he'll be like everybody else. He'll say he's got 4 or 5 players to come back, top players, and that's when he'll be judged. But you're right, I don't think it was the penalties that upset him. I think it was a goal that they lost to make it 2 each to go to penalties that would have been disappointing them. But no, for me, they're just a bit powder puff for me at the back, and that's why I think Rangers will win.
Yeah, and of course, off the back of that defeat, their goalkeeper Joe Lewis says, the last thing they need to do is start sulking about being out of the League Cup.
Well, we've got another massive game on Saturday, so we've not got time to sulk or to be too focused on the defeat. It's a huge game for the football club on Saturday, and we'll just head straight on that. Obviously, there's a disappointment, and I'm sure this evening and possibly tomorrow morning, when the lads wake up, they'll still be disappointed about this game. But we'll recover tomorrow and make sure we're fully focused on the next game, because there's no real time to to dwell on that.
We're going to talk about St Mirren against Hearts and the rest of the Premiership fixtures after, of course, we confirm the winner of our quiz this week. Well done to James Cuthbertson. There'll be a PLZ team T-shirt in your team's favourite colours on its way to you. Of course, 1988, it was an easy one, Ruffy, on that one. And we witnessed one of the finest goals I've ever seen in a major tournament from Marco van Basten. He had no right to even think at that acute angle that he could actually lash the ball into the roof of the net.
No, I think he took everybody by surprise. And if you look at Dasayev, I think he was taken by surprise as well, you know, that he even attempted to do what he did. And it was a fitting goal to win any final.
Yeah, you know, I'm so impressed with you, Ruffy, that you've just started to move up the levels now with your football knowledge, that the Russian goalkeeper was indeed called Dasayev. Possibly the best goalkeeper Russia have had since...
It'll be Lev Yashin, obviously.
I mean, the man is on blistering form, Barry. You've been away. Ruffy's been staying in reading books. It's incredible.
He stepped it up the last week. He's been unbelievable.
You haven't been in earlier on this week.
He's in one. He's the Norman Wisdom of the programme. He's in one blunder after another. But yeah, Ruffy, I'm going to pay tribute to you there. It was a great goal, but that was great calling out the Russian goalkeeper. Would you have known that yourself? OK, back to domestic issues. St Mirren against Hearts. I've mentioned there's a certain amount of delight sometimes because you don't want to see managers get sacked. So Craig Levein had his moment. He didn't dwell on it. He certainly didn't milk it when he was in the after-match press conference that I was there when they defeated Hibs. And again, against Aberdeen, he knows, you know, suddenly fans are with you, then they're against you. He had a real bit of pressure, Barry. Now he's got a chance to have 3 wins in a row. Yeah,
the pressure was certainly on him. I mean, after that Motherwell defeat with the fans outside, the main stand chanting for him to get the sack, so he knew it was a big week coming up against, obviously, Hibs and Aberdeen, and he's done the job. The players have done the job for him. It shows you that the players are still wanting to play for him. That's obvious with the results. So this will be another one. If he goes to St Mirren and gets 3 points, which I think they will do, because confidence has got to be sky high. That's 3 wins out of 3 in a week, so he'll be the pressure released from.
Yeah, it would certainly be favourites, I think, Ruffy. St Mirren have only had 1 win, 4 defeats. And when you look at Hearts, in a strange sort of way, they could find themselves at the end of Saturday evening, 6th in the table and in the semi-finals of the League Cup as well.
Yeah, well, confidence is everything. And as Barry said there, the wins breed confidence, and you just want the games to come fast and furious. They'll be looking forward to the game at the weekend. I think they'll win the game, but there's something about St Mirren. I just think they just need a wee break here and there, you know, to kick-start their season. But I don't think it's going to be at the weekend. I'm going to go for a Hearts to win 2-1.
Yeah.
I'm going Hearts to win 2-0.
OK, we're all in the Jambos camp for this one. Apologies to Jim Goodman if you're watching. What about Killie against Ross County? Dom Thomas has signed a new deal at Kilmarnock till 2021. He's been an ever-present, all but one of the games, actually, he's featured in this season, so he'll be well happy. He's a young guy that started out at Motherwell and suddenly seems to have found a club that can unleash the quality that he has.
Yeah, we were actually there that day when he had his first game, when he just came on the park and scored a screamer from about 25 yards. He's been about, you know, and maybe it's just he's one of these guys who just needs a team that he can settle with and get a bit of confidence, get an extended run. But he certainly, when he was at Motherwell, everybody was raving about him. He was the next best thing.
Yep. How do you see that one going, Barry?
I think Kilmarnock will win the game. I know they get knocked out during the week, but I think things are starting to click in place for the new manager. So I'm going for Kilmarnock.
Yeah, I'm going to go Kilmarnock as well. I know Ross County have done well away from home this season, but I think Killie will just be too strong for them. Yeah,
it's hard to believe it. Ross County, I mean, they absolutely done me in last week on the Coop and Ruffy. Didn't think they were going to defeat Motherwell. They're sitting 5th. Got to give them credit.
Yeah, in all fairness to the division they've just come out of, the top teams are very, very strong, and they've built on that. Good for the management team up there, and the more points they get early on in the season, it will be better for them.
I'd like to apologise to all the Hamilton-Accies and Livingston fans, and maybe I'm being a little bit snobby about my football and trying to portray myself as a football purist, but Hamilton-Livingston is not the type of game that I would like to see on my least favourite surface of all time. Ruffy, we've all been scathing about it, but suddenly you've got a team not on form in Hamilton, you've got a team Livingston who play a certain way. This one could be blood, guts and thunder.
Yeah, and I'm sure with that in mind, I think sometimes you get really good games when it's like that. I think the two of them will actually go at each other. I think it will be end-to-end stuff.
Monday, so Ruffy, 0-0 at Douglas Park. What do you make of it?
Yeah, no, but I've got a funny feeling.
High scorer?
No.
Wait a minute. I think lots of entertainment then?
Lots of entertainment.
No
lots
goals?
Of goal-mouth incident. Hamilton to win 2-1.
2-1. Well, that's 3 goals, isn't it, Ruffy? Barry?
I'm going for Livy. I know it's an AstroTurf pitch. We're no keen on them. Accies are struggling a wee bit at home. I just think Livy will have too much in the locker.
Okay, if there's a team that I think sometimes you've been veering towards Livy on a regular basis, albeit you've regularly looked at Rangers for him and picked them on a regular basis, but Livingston, which is natural. Calm your jets. No, he's never gone against Hibs until today. And if Partick Thistle were playing, Real Madrid in the Champions League, he'd go 2-1 Thistle. But I'm looking here and I'm saying to myself, well, you've veered towards Livingston because you know what you're getting with them. I'm looking at Motherwell and I've been so impressed with them. I still think they'll be top 4. Ruffy disagrees with me. I think they'll go to St Johnstone and win.
I think they've got potential. It's still early doors for them because it's a whole new squad and a new way of playing for a lot of these players. I've been impressed when I've watched them. I was surprised as you. Yeah. I thought they would have beat Ross County. Obviously a man getting sent off didn't help that, but I think they'll go up to McDermott Park, they'll bounce back. I think they've got enough quality in the team to go and win that game.
Yeah, Ruffy, I know you don't agree with me on this one, but I just think Motherwell, with that nice little mix of experience and the youth that they've got coming through, I've got a soft spot for them this season. Maybe it's Cowan on this show that's annoying the life out of me, And listen to Barry saying it's early days. We've already called for 3 managers ahead since the start of the season.
I know where you're coming from, but there's a consistency that players have got to live up to, and Motherwell haven't done that for me yet. I think St Johnstone, although they're sitting where they are in the league, are beginning to get players back, and he's beginning to get players in. I still, if they start playing reasonably well, they're hard to beat. So I'm going to go for 1 each at the weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going Motherwell to win the game.
Motherwell to win the game. I must just mention, it's just something that obviously I think is worthy of our thoughts. Ruffy, is Glasgow City with a good win, an emphatic win, 5-1 on aggregate. I think we've got to mention that because the girls, Leanne, we wish them all the best. It was the Russian side, Chertonova, that were standing in their way, but they were emphatic in their win.
Yeah, they certainly were. They got a wee hiccup at the beginning with them scoring first, which obviously made the nerves settle in a wee bit, but no, they came good, and that's good because year on year, they were the pioneers in the European football, and they just keep improving all the time. Yeah. Fantastic.
Last 16's fantastic. I just think it's great. It's a brilliant win for them, and again, it builds that game up more and more. Especially if we've got a Scottish interest in it, Barry.
Yeah, exactly, because there's a lot of talk on what the English are doing. So it's great to see one of our top teams getting to the last 16 of the Champions League. Okay, hopefully you're going to enjoy your football. Go there, enjoy it, get home safely and conduct yourself in an orderly manner. That's what going to enjoy football is all about. And in the halcyon days of football, if you had heroes, especially if you were in the east of Scotland, there was one man in particular who certainly was the idol of many a Hibs fan. He's 75 and to celebrate his 75th birthday, Hibs are going to put on a little special treat for him, a gala day. Ruffy, you're going to be there at Easter Road as well. Some of his old teammates will be there to celebrate the wonderful Pat Stanton, who had a great career for not only Hibs, but of course he topped it all off for the swan song of a double winning team at Celtic.
at that time, I know we should have won more than we did, and we were competing against one of the best teams in Europe, Celtic at the time. It was a great time to be at Easter Road. It was a special time, and when you look back, it was, you know. Like I say, we should have maybe won more, but when you look back, you say, it was good just to be there. I played when just prior to Jockstein leaving us, I'm playing Real Madrid at Easter Road. We beat them 2-0. But to be on the park, you know, Ferenc Puskas is just standing about 15 yards away from you. You know, and all these great players.
Yeah.
Jock says, how would you like to come and play for Celtic? What a question that is, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I said I'd be delighted. I just met him, signed for the Celtic, and it was funny when I was talking to him, I says, I hadn't played much. I'd missed a couple of games. I says, who do you play on Saturday? And he went, oh, what's their name again? Rangers. I was made welcome in the dressing room. Terrific players, great players. You know, Bobby Lennox had won everything, and he still retained that desire to do well. You know, so, and yeah, I was what a move it was for me to go and play alongside these players.
The brilliant Pat Stanton. I thought when he was playing at Celtic in 1976-77 season, Ruffy, he had the cigars out. He just strolled through games. It was a class act.
Yeah, he was a sort of a Scottish Franz Beckenbauer, you know, never under any pressure at all, controlled everything. I was fortunate enough to be asked to play in his testimonial game against Celtic at Easter Road. There was 40,000 at that game.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing. And then 2 months later I signed for Hibs, and it was Pat who was the manager, and the nicest guy you could ever meet was Barry. He was one of these managers who, when that whistle went for the start of a game, you wanted to win it for him. It wasn't about you or the fans, it was him. He was that nice a guy, and
Good
the way he handled
manager.
himself, everybody loved him to bits. Not a bad story to tell about Pat Stanton.
Yeah, great tribute, Ruffy, to be honest with you. He was a right good-looking guy as well. Did you feel threatened by him, Ruffy, with
Not
that?
at all, no.
No.
I was getting on when I was there.
And on that note, I couldn't give you a better tribute than that from Ruffy, from Barry Ferguson, from Alan Ruff and myself. Don't forget, follow us across all the social media outlets there, the ever-growing football family. Hopefully you're enjoying our special guests. And of course, the team that we've put together for you to entertain you Monday to Friday on YouTube, across our Facebook Lives. And there's big news coming up on our podcasts as well. Thanks to Ruffy, thanks to Barry, and of course from myself, Peter Martin. Thank you very much for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.